Come on,
Hello fellow Starcraft 2 player, this is B-Boy Apache Entertainment. In today's video we'll be learning how to counter the Cyclone Part 2. Last video we learned how to defend against the Cyclone with Sentry, Stalkers, Force Field, Nexus Cannon, Mothership Core, and we learned how to counter or how to defend against the Cyclone in the open field of your second expansion. In this video we're gonna take a look at two replays. The first replay, we're going to learn how to deal with a Cyclone who comes out super early, which I never knew that it was possible, but I figured it out during the process of learning how to counter the Cyclone. And then, the second replay, we're going to take a look at how we can counter against a Cyclone that is proxies out somewhere in the map. So let's get into it. Want to mention that the green Protoss player is me playing. My main race is a Terran player, so I'm not a very good Protoss player, but I try my best in order to show you guys how Protoss versus Cyclone metagame can possibly be in the beta release of Legacy of the Void or official release. To the top, we have a pink Terran player who's a high to low diamond Protoss player. Yes, I did say Protoss player. He's also playing his off race. He's not really a diamond or a high diamond Terran player. At least that's what he told me, but I really like to thank Sam for helping me out in the process of making this video. Alright, so let's get into how the game works for Protoss versus Cyclone. So for Protoss, we have the ability to scout early on with a probe without having to worry about losing our probe before 220. So let's rewind that back a little bit and see how that works. Alright, so I'm gonna go back to the build order that I went. Alright, so when the first probe came out, right away I put down a pylon. After the pylon finished, the same probe went on, put in the gateway, have a second probe, put on a simulator, and right away I went out to scout. And then we were able to reach at the Terran base or front door at around 1:45. Now keep in mind that if the Terran player decides to wall, he will have a supply depot and a barrack and another supply depot at around the 2-minute mark. So this is a very good timing for Protoss. You have to get out your gateway, send out your probe, and then scout before the wall goes down if you want to have information. At least it is a good thing that you can scout before the walling is dropped down. Okay? So knowing that Protoss have the ability to figure out what's going on, to figure out if the Reaper is going to be coming out of the barrack, or to figure out if the tech lab or a reactor is going to be put down onto the barrack. So in other words, Protoss have a lot of knowledge, have a lot of a lot of flexibility to figure out what the Terran is doing in the early game. Now the last game, in the last video, we learned that the Reaper comes out at 3:30 minute mark at our front door, and about 3-minute mark we were prepared to counter that Reaper with a Mothership Core and a Stalker. In the last game, no, not last game, he's saying last game. In the last video, we learned that the Cyclone comes out at 4:40 or 4:50 minute mark. 4:40 if the Reaper comes out, 4:50 if the Terran decide to go for Marine. But in this replay, I was caught off guard with this very super early Cyclone that comes out at around 4:15. So I was able to lose my Stalkers, but I was able to react in time to go back home to defend against this very first Cyclone. Okay? So a lot of you saying that the Cyclone is too powerful, but let me show you guys how you can deal with a Cyclone with a Stalker and a Mothership Core. It is possible, it is reliable. Let's get to it. I'm gonna go into the Protoss or the Terran point of view. So you can see how I execute my strategy to counter the cyclone.
Additional supply depots required.
Bam! Here you can see that I go out of vision, away from the cyclone lock-on, canceling the cyclone's ability. Do the same thing with the mothership core, push out with my stalker, and have him do as much damage as possible. From here, keep doing the same thing, buy myself time to put out another stalker. He's able to take out my mothership core. Bam! There we go. I was able to deal with the not a mothership core, the first initial cyclone. In this case, we have a second cyclone on the way. Now let's take a look at what this second cyclone can do.
Upgrade complete.
Bam! We have two stalkers and a mothership core defending. The cyclone cannot push out. Now, I want to address something important. I want to answer a question that a subscriber from my YouTube channel asked me. He said that because of the cyclone, the Protoss has to be defending and has to stay in the dark. But in this replay, I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to convince you that, hey, it's not always true. Protoss is not going to be in the dark. Protoss is going to do a lot of damage. Watch. Alright, so anytime now. Oh, what is this? Our SCV is under attack. Look what we have here. We have an Oracle taking out 4 Marines, and the Marines are out of position. Now let's take a look at the unit tab. We see that the Terran is ahead of economy and have 2 mules dropped it down. But we have an Oracle out that can potentially set us ahead of the economy. From here, now we are ahead of economy. We are also ahead in army count. And look at this. We are also able to push out of the map and regain map control with the Phoenix. Now, one of my subscribers had a question for me saying that he's not convinced that the Phoenix is enough to deal with whatever big army that the Terran player has. Let's take a look at the Terran player. The Terrans only have 7 Marines and a Cyclone at his base. So if they were to push out, they can't really do much to us. They can't really push out. But the moment the Phoenix comes out and the moment the Oracle comes out, the Terran loses map control and has to play defensively. That's when the Protoss becomes very aggressive and can control the game however he wants to have it played out. See, Terran player losing map control, and check this out. In my vision, I was able to gain map control. I was able to spot the factory flying to second expansion. Hold on, let me just fast forward this game really quick so I can show you there. Alright. Bam! Able to spot the factory, able to spot incoming whatever suspicion that the Terran player could possibly do. Also to keep in mind, doing the first initial Cyclone push, I was able to have a second Nexus out, and you see, able to push ahead of the economy, push ahead of the army count. Wow, we are in a good spot as a Protoss player. And look at this, we have ability to tech up to whatever we want. In this case, I decided to drop down 2 additional gateway and decided to go robotic bait, because when I initially harassed with my first Cyclone, I was able to find out that the Terran player was going for Bio Ball. If you harass with the cyclone, if you see a factory, then you respond to factory units. If you see a bio, you respond to bio. With Colossus or the side disruptor, if you see factory, you respond with immortal or you respond with air toss. So guys, Protoss versus Cyclone. Very easy to take care of the first cyclone. We just need to know how to deal with it. At first, when we saw the 2v2 Archon mode that Blizzard decided to show to us with their first release of their new unit, everybody was freaking out that the cyclone was too overpowered, too strong, but we are able to manage to figure out a way to deal with the cyclone, and bam, from there it's just another how to counter against a unit, how to deal with this unit. Pretty much it. So guys, that's another way to counter against a cyclone and be aggressive as a Protoss player and be able to take control of the game. Alright, so let's go to the second game and take a look at how we can deal with proxy factory into cyclone. I'll see you guys in that video. Alright, in this replay we have a pink Protoss player, which is me, going against a red platinum off race Terran player. I don't know what his main race is, but he's a plat player and I'm a former master player, and off race versus off race. I just want to show you guys how we can counter against the proxy factory into cyclone. Alright. So in the first game I said that after dropping down your gateway, your first pro should go out and scout. Alright, so we see 2 supply depot, but we don't see a barrack. We looked everywhere for the barrack. There's no second command center. So what does this mean? This means that, alright, okay, you know what? I smell cheese. So what did I do? I decided to pull a probe from my main base and decide to look for a potential proxy, whatever it is. And guess what I found? Wow. So let's take a look at how we could deal with this. Alright, so let's take a look at the timing of the mothership core and the stalker. The reason we have the stalker out and the mothership core was to deal with the Reaper, potential Reaper push, right? But instead of a Reaper, we have potential to deal with this. As you can see, I was able to deny the factory landing onto the attack lab with my probe and then replace it with my stalker if the Marine was to come out on time. From there, that's a delay right there. Sorry about the Facebook notifications. My second stalker was able to find the factory desperately trying to land and get out the cyclone. Now guys, in my first video, how to counter cyclone with sentry, stalker, mothership core, I said that cyclone, you do not want to engage them in the open field. Alright, so this is what happened if you engage against a cyclone in the open field with Michael. Okay, so a mothership and 2 stalker engaging a cyclone in the open field. As you can see, I used my initial strategy from the first game. Michael away, cancel the cyclone lock on, do the same thing. From here I was very close to taking out the cyclone, but I did one mistake. I did not use these vision reducer. If I was to deal with against the cyclone in open field, I would need to have my stalker position behind this, have my mothership core behind this, get the vision of the cyclone, and my stalker would just go on and shoot. I could have engaged the cyclone by walking in between the Zelnaga with these bushes, or I don't know what they're called, and defend against the cyclone. Alright, so if Blizzard were to make more map which has a lot of these in the open field, that would be very nice for the Protoss to fight off against the Cyclone when they want to be aggressive and push out. So this is me as a Protoss player pushing out, being aggressive even when there's a Cyclone in the field. I was able to take control of the map control and at the same time do some little bit of harassment here at his main base. Wow, Protoss seems to have a lot of flexibility to do a lot of things at once against a Cyclone. I should be able to take out the Cyclone too with the stalker up here, but unfortunately I was a slow Protoss player. I did not react properly. If I had my stalker right here ready, I would have been able to take out the Cyclone. And bam, take a look at this. I was able to scout out that there's 2 tech lab, 2 barrack, and a potential reactor or barrack. I could also have scouted out for a second orbital command center. So then again, this answered the question of, if a Cyclone is out in the open field, can Protoss be aggressive, and can Protoss have map control? Can Protoss be able to scout and figure out what's going on without being behind or playing defensively? In Legacy of the Void, Protoss are able to play defensively and be aggressive at the same time against a Cyclone. Now let's take a look at the unit tab. Protoss players are able to stay ahead too in economy, and take a look at that. We have an Oracle on the way already, and a Phoenix can potentially come out to take care of any more additional Cyclone. Guys, let me repeat it again. This is how you can take care of Cyclone. This is how you can deal with Cyclone. Cyclone isn't that overpowered, isn't that powerful as you all initially thought that they were going to. It's all about how you position your stalkers, your mothership core, how well you micro, all about how you build your opening, all about how you scout constantly, keeping an eye out, all about how you keep information as you go on about the game. Guys, this is B-Well Patching Entertainment. I hope you guys learned something new, and I hope you guys keep it in mind and continue owning in Starcraft 2. Peace out.
Come on, Apache! B-Well Apache!